Fantasy Blitz. It's your boy Elijah. How are we doing? How are we? Happy Thursday to all those that celebrate. It is almost Friday, so I know that's an important day for people. But yeah, the weather over here in Georgia is not looking amazing. It's quite brutal right now, to be honest. Got that hurricane. I think it's like Helena or something. Hurricane Helena, something coming up. But yeah, it's pretty brutal right now. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. All right, perfect. Sounds good. But yeah, so I can't pull up the screen over in front of me. Y'all can never see it, but it's a big TV, and I cannot see it all. Like, it says no HDMI connected. I talked to Hudson about it. Can't really figure it out. He might be joining in pretty soon, so let's see if that happens. But can't really pull up a lot of stuff. I can only really pull up the presentation. So we're only going to be able to go through the presentation. Otherwise, I would show y'all the standings. So let's just pull it up on my phone, because, man, something about this studio, it just doesn't want me to have everything together all at once. It's always like one thing. Like today, I'm able to stream. It looks fine. It's okay. But I just can't get the TV up there. So it's always something, man. It's always something. But the standings. All right, so we got Ryan Gaddis. He's in the chat. What up, Ryan? He's number one in the league. He's 2-1. Reason for it is because he scored the most points by far at 440. But then we got Adam at 393 in second place. Coin, third. And then me, your boy, in fourth. So not terrible. And then we got Hudson at number 5, middle of the pack. So it's okay so far. Not too bad. Nick at the beginning of the second half. And then Kyle, Brandon, Chili, and then Gibby, Hayden at the very end. Very competitive league so far. Hudson, if you want to walk in, come on, man. We only got like 4 viewers or so. But
what's up, guys?
What's up? This mic is muted, so if you want to...
Oh, it's fine.
You can... I got you. The boy Huddy. Hudson, do you want to look at the score from last week?
Oh,
it was actually, me and your boy.
Uh-oh. Whoops.
I edged out a little 6-point victory. Yeah.
That one hurt.
It was a little too close, but, you know, I'll take it. I didn't even start... Oh, yeah, I had 1 point for my tight end, Isaiah Likely, so... It was kind of a... It was painful to go against Lamar, because you did. I didn't say you took him away from me, but it's always brutal to see your favorite player being taken away from you. But that's just how it is, but...
I left some points on the bench, too, man.
Yeah, who'd you leave on the... That's the worst feeling, too, when you see...
Feeling.
One of the things I wish ESPN would put on... do you use the app Sleeper at all? No.
Is it good?
Some people say it's the best fantasy app out of all of them, but it has like your percentage start and sit ratio or whatever. Like you made the right call, and I think it's a beautiful. I think ESPN should add it. ESPN's made a lot of great improvements since last year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, like I don't know. They must have heard the people because the people were complaining. It's so much better. So let's look at the chat right here. Ryan is already talking some smack to Chili. Says Chili, you going down this week, and then. Chili says, "Oh crap, Ryan, let me take a look at your team. I'll be back." Adam beat me on a fluke, I swear. Yeah, that was a fluke. He had some pop-offs in his lineup. And then he said, "I must admit you have sold a solid team, Ryan." I said it's a solid soul. I was like, "Oh, that's nice of him." And then he said, "Thanks, Chili." Yeah, see, Ryan even says Sleeper is for sure the best. But I just like ESPN because it's like traditional. It's like, you know, all reliable. And then Hayden says, "Tyreek Hill will be my downfall this year." What a sentence that is. Who would have thought one injury to a quarterback would really hurt a top 5, top 3 pick in Tyreek Hill? But here we are. Hudson, I've explained to them a little bit of the dilemma going on for the stream. So I have to just go over here. I have to hit screen and cam, and I got to slide it all over. So it still works, but, you know. You
are very innovative. I feel like you have to be every week.
Yeah.
Like something.
That's exactly what I said. I said, beginning of the stream, I said, "Guys, I got everything working out but one thing." It just seems like every week, something, just one thing, throws it off. But today, it's not too bad. It's still working out. Not too bad.
What's up with that one video that got like 3K views on the YouTube channel?
Dude, I don't know. Some of those just get thrown in. Like, I put a promotion like 2 weeks ago, but not for that video.
Yeah.
And then this one just popped off all of a sudden. I guess because of the Carson Steele for the running back for the Chiefs.
So
that was a huge talk.
Is why didn't you make another one?
Okay, so here's the thing. Tuesday, I had a full day of work, and then I had to go run some errands with my car. And before we knew it, it was 9 o'clock before I was in bed. Waiver wire closes at like 3 a.m. or so. So I put out a little community post saying when up. But I've been pretty okay so far this season with my Tuesday videos. You know what they're called on Tuesday?
Oh darn it!
They're called the 2-minute drills.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's pretty nice. It's not too bad. But yeah.
We have to get more eyeballs on this channel.
I know.
Because it is so good. The quality.
I know. It's
what you bring every week is just. It's so good.
Yeah.
I want more people to know about it.
I know. That's why y'all gotta like, share, and subscribe. Get the channel going. We'll never forget the OGs, of course. Look at the chat already going crazy.
Never.
And then, Ryan says, might have to start Juwan over Ayuk. That might be the case. You know Juwan Jennings from the 49ers?
Yeah.
He put up 43 last week. Who would have thunk it, man? 43 from Juwan Jennings? Nonsense. I still don't like him, though. He's a Tennessee Volunteer, so I can't, give him all the credit. But I'll get him some now. Ryan says, sounds like a bunch of excuses, Eli. I'm full of them sometimes. Just sometimes. And Chili says, start Jennings next week. Yeah, Ryan and Chili that's so funny, y'all. Colliding in the chat right there. So let's get some starts and sits going real quick. We got
dip.
All right, man.
I was just coming down to say
hi. The people love when Kid Huddy appears. Appreciate you, Hudson. Thank you again. Hey, that's the man that started it all right there. He waves it off. Hey, nice sweatshirt, by the way. How was your trip? Was it good?
It was the best.
Fantastic. All right, we'll talk about it later. See you, bro. All right, so here we go. You already know the deal. We got to get the NFL news in first. Let's see. Again, I got to figure some things out. So, Austin Eckler ruled out against the Cardinals already. I think that will be huge for Brian Robinson Jr. since he already looked pretty great last week against the Bengals. So that will definitely give him more touches. As Austin Eckler was not a huge threat to Brian Robinson, but it definitely helps that he's not playing. Or maybe it won't be because he has to, share or use the ball more often instead of sharing it and getting some rest. We'll see, but I think it'll benefit him a little bit more. Miami quarterback Skylar Thompson is day-to-day with rib injury. I'm sure Dolphins fans are not really, they're not like, okay, that's fine. We don't really care about him. We just need to get Tua back as soon as possible. Brett Favre reveals that he has Parkinson's disease. Thoughts and prayers up for you, Brett. We all make mistakes in some life, but that's about his money stuff in the past. But hey, one accident does not define who you are. And then Christian McCaffrey is seeing a specialist in Germany. This was the talk of the town for a little bit. He could be months now. Oh, man, the 49ers should be getting sued. I'll tell you that. The 49ers should be getting sued because they knew about this, and they never told us, and they let all of us draft him, like me, at 1.01. Unfortunate, but here we are. Almost got another cramp. That was almost really bad. But then let's see. Let's move on to the next one. The slides are going to be a little weird because I have to, click a bunch, but it's okay. According to sources, Tua has decided to continue playing football. I saw this coming. I did not think that he was going to end up, retiring or making that decision to retire. If he were to retire, I would think it would be later on in the season or at the end of the season. But, I'm not going to say you should retire. You shouldn't retire, whatever. He knows his health. You should listen to some specialists. Take it up for yourself. We move on. Let's look at the chat real quick. Ryan says, I'm not saying that. I'm not reading that chat. And it says, go blank baby. I'm not saying that word. Nick Walker, what up, man? Welcome back. He says, hey, man. Hey. Christian McCaffrey is done for the season. Chili, I hope that is just what you're thinking instead of a source. But, yeah, that is just tough. Nick Walker says, top kickers to start week 4. We could talk about that throughout the stream. I don't really put the kickers in there because they're pretty inconsistent. I thought for sure Jason Sanders was going to be one of the better kickers this year. Boom, Tua goes out, and now he just absolutely sucks. But we can definitely talk about that throughout the stream because I definitely have some ideas for kickers. I think Matt Prater is going to be one of the better kickers this year, just because the Cardinals' offense is starting to produce. So you can definitely go with Matt Prater. Evan McPherson, that guy is always incredible. So if you can somehow get one of those guys, also depending on your stream or your waiver wire stream, you can find some pretty solid guys out there. Also, let's see, one more. Which receivers to start between St. Brown, Marvin Harrison, Shakir, or Mooney? You only just need one. How many do you need? Because right now I would say St. Brown and MHJ. Had trouble last week pronouncing that, but MHJ for sure. Robust one arm. What up? We got some pretty big, exciting news next week involving Robust One Unarmed. Stay tuned. Y'all definitely got to tune in next week because it's going to be exciting. It's going to be wonderful. Gotta wear that merch. Gotta have it. Yeah, Nick, just let me know which receivers, how many receivers you need for the next one. All right, and we have 6 or 7 people watching, 6 likes. Can we get one more like? Can we? Can we see how that goes? Oh, we dropped down 6. That's okay. Cool. I'm starting Prater. Yeah, if you can get Prater, get him. Pick him up. Yep. Robust one arm. 2 eye emojis. Y'all better be looking out. Let's get some hearts in there too. All right, now let's move on to the big stuff. All right, this is where it's going to be kind of challenging because I'm going to have to read from my phone all this stuff. So here we go. Pause play. Is it not playing? It's definitely one of the more chill fantasy football streams you'll ever see in your entire life. And it will be the best one, I think, you'll ever see. All right, let's move. Let's get this going. Boom. Topics for today just starts and sits. You know the drill. Sorry about not having a video on Tuesday. Like I said, I had some issues going on. Just a young man trying to make it through. And by the time I got home, I didn't have any time to make a video. But I did release a community post. Hopefully you got Juwan Jennings or Darnell Mooney. I expect those guys to be gone by now. They should be rostered after this week, just because of the production or productivity they have produced. Is that redundant? Do I have to say, like, can I say that twice or no? I don't know, man. All right, here we go. First game. We finally got the spreads up there, right there. Thursday Night Football is tonight on Amazon Prime at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Dallas is the 5.5-point favorites. I saw a stat today that said the Dallas Cowboys are 13-1 in their last 14 meetings against the Giants. So if you're looking to bet, we don't condone betting entirely over in this channel, but I would go with Dallas because that's an insane stat to be and especially with how the Giants look okay. I mean, they beat the Browns, but I think the Browns are just really bad. So we got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and Rico Dowdle if you really need him. Again, if you're new to this channel, INB means if need be. I wouldn't start him if you don't need to, but... Oh, excuse me. But if you absolutely need to start him, go ahead and do it. It's not a bad idea. I'm starting him in my flex because I truly have to. And then on the Giants side, we have Malik Neighbors. Everyone else you can kind of sit. I would not start Daniel Jones. He seems to struggle against the Cowboys. Devin Singletary. If you need to, you should, I guess, but I'm not entirely for it just because it's Devin Singletary and the Browns are terrible, so that's why he looked pretty well last year. So Neighbors is the only lock. Neighbors seems to be a lock the rest of the season. I know it's week 4, but you could probably do it. I think it'd be okay, right? I mean, right? Come on. All right, let's look at the chat real quick because I see Nick is typing up something. Nick, I love it, man. Keep it going. Robust One Arm says, like it up. Let's go. Much love. Absolutely, brother. He says, I need 2 receivers. My running backs are Hubbard, Bijan, Braylon Allen. Good pickup. J.K. Dobbins, not feeling too confident in who to start. For the running backs, I would start, of course, Bijan and Brian Robinson. I'm sorry, excuse me, J.K. Dobbins. Chiefs looked pretty well against the Falcons, against Bijan, so maybe you can go with Hubbard. He did look pretty well. Hello, Steven. I am here. I am here as well. Appreciate you coming in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Appreciate y'all. Let's see. You need 2 receivers, and you said you wanted to start in between St. Brown and MHJ. I would go with St. Brown and MHJ. If you wanted to throw Mooney in the flex spot, I want to be against it. He seems to flourish in that wide receiver 2 spot with the Falcons. I love it. I think it's a great idea to put him in your flex. If you're in a deep league, if you're not in a 2 deep league, you don't have to do it. David says, I got the Titans defense since they are playing a weak Miami and a third line quarterback. Great call, Steven, or Davis. Sorry. Great call, Davis, because the Titans defense is actually not that bad. And Miami just stinks. And you'll be surprised when you see the line whenever we get to that game. Nick says, Chiefs a tough matchup. Might go Hubbard. Yeah, I think that might be the safe call. How'd you do last week, Nick? We talked about your receivers. How'd you do? We got to talk about that a little bit more. All right, let's get back to it. New Orleans versus the Falcons. I am a Falcons fan, so I will be biased, but not entirely biased. Falcons, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's in Atlanta. The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. Personally, I would take on that one just because the Falcons have done pretty well in the past against the Saints at home. Just last year. I think that defense will cause some issues. We'll start with New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, if he is healthy, I expect him to be healthy. Don't know how healthy, but expect him to. If you want to pick up Jamal Williams and stash him on your bench just in case, I think that's a good call if you have room for him. Chris Olave, and then that's really about it. I would sit Derek Carr just because quarterbacks have not done too well against the Falcons. I mean, Mahomes did okay, but he did throw a pick, only 2 touchdowns. Justin Fields did well, but he did well on the ground. And then Jalen Hurts also did well on the ground, but again, not too much production in the air, and Derek Carr does not have legs for the running game. So we'll see how that goes. On the Falcons side, you're going to start Cousins, Robinson, Pitts, London, and Mooney, if need be, of course. Cousins, I think this will be a great matchup for him. The city of Atlanta will definitely determine how they feel about him, depending on how he plays this game. Bijan, of course, that's a lock. Kyle Pitts, I still am riding on the Kyle Pitts train just because he hasn't done poorly. I know 2 catches for 59 yards last week. Not the production you want to see, but the yardage is still there. And also, we're in week 4. Guys, this is a new team. This is an entirely new offense that all players are really getting the ball from. Like, Pitts is catching a ball from Kirk Cousins. Darnell Mooney is on a completely different team, and he's getting a ball from Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is throwing to Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts. It is a completely different offense. Zach Robinson, new offensive coordinator. We got to be patient. I do believe after week 4, week 5, that's when you can start saying, more stern stances on teams. Let's finish out this slide, and then we'll continue going. Let's go with everyone else on the Falcons. I would think the Falcons would cover in this game, so you can lock that in. Let's see in the chat real quick. Davis says, I know, like the Chiefs, I think 31 fan bases probably would say the same thing. Nick says, I lost by 3 points last week. I was up by 30, but Jaden Daniels had a massive game against me, and that is unfortunate. Oh, it's either the Monday Night Miracle or the Monday Night Madness. That's how it always goes. I'm starting the San Francisco defense against New England. Is that a good oh, yeah, that's a great matchup. I think that's a fantastic matchup. New England sucks. They're not a good team. I think Jacoby Brissett is doing well for Drake May in the sense of like taking all the hits and just being the dummy or the punching bag dummy for right now, but it'll take some time for Drake May to get in there and just everyone relax. But I do think the Patriots are not that good. They really only have Ramondre Stevenson as their solid offensive player, so it's a good pick. All right, we're moving on to the next one. Dun, 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 dun. Cincinnati versus Carolina. The 0-3 team versus the 1-2 team. Cincinnati being 0-3, they are 4.5-point favorites in Carolina. That game is at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You're really only going to start Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase did well last week. Joe Burrow did well. And then Carolina, I would only start Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Johnson. Andy Dalton, I would not stream him at all. I would not take him in yet at all just because he played one game against a crappy Oakland. Oh, man. Las Vegas team. Just because Las Vegas is not that great either. That team is very inconsistent. I'm not a huge fan on them. So that's why I think Carolina did well. I also think Carolina was a little bit fired up to get a new quarterback. Poor Bryce Young. You got to feel for the guy, right? But yeah, everyone else in Carolina. This feels weird to put 2 guys to start, but if you have other options, I would go ahead and start them over them. All right, moving on. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we have the Rams at Chicago. Chicago is a 3-point favorite. And on the Rams side, this one will be quick. Really only going to start Kyren Williams because no receivers are healthy. Tyler Johnson looked kind of rough. Demarcus Robinson looked okay. Tutu Atwell, he didn't do too bad, but you would have to be a little cautious if you wanted to start one of those guys. I looked at the projections for each of those guys. It's really only looking like 8 to 9 points. So Kyren Williams is definitely your safe bet for any Rams players. And he looks like he's on a roll. So if you have Kyren Williams, you're almost guaranteed a 15-plus point game because who else would they run the offense through? On the Chicago side, I don't know why they're 3-point favorites, but it's a wide receiver roulette, especially if Keenan Allen plays. That status is still up in the air because we're not even through an entire Thursday practice because, some teams have already reported, oh, this guy didn't practice all day. He was limited in practice. Oh, he had full practice. But some teams still have not come out with their full practice. It's because Adam taught me this. They called, Dudes Day? If a player does not practice on Tuesday, that is okay. All right, they might be they're probably studs, and they don't need to practice every day of the week. They need to rest their bodies. But if they don't practice on Thursday, that's a little bit alarming. Just got to keep an eye out for that, especially with any guy on your squad. But then Cole Kmet, his stats are very skewed because he had a fantastic game against the Colts. So did Caleb Williams, but that's because they were playing behind, and you have no other option except chuck the ball up in the air, especially with the running game struggles that the Bears have endured. Let's see. Nick says, if Devontae's out for me, I might flex Mooney or Shakir. I'll go with Mooney just because he's getting more of the share targets, or Shakir. I don't think you can really mess up on those picks. Playing Madden and getting smashed by the CPU, LL. I can't play defense. Dude, I stink at Madden. I stink at video games. I'll tell you what. It is not fun. All right. Next game. Minnesota is visiting the Green Bay Packers, a NFC North divisional game. We'll start with Minnesota. Darnold, if he's healthy, he does have a hurt knee, but he's expected to go, I believe. Aaron Jones, a little homecoming game for him. And then Justin Jefferson. I have confidence in both of those guys. I have confidence in Sam Darnold as well, but I don't know how long this is going to last. We'll see how that goes. Robust One Arm says, he said, yes, sir, every athlete needs rest days. I agree. You definitely got to take some time off just for your body to relax. But that does not mean take the entire day off. Get your body moving a little bit. Go on a walk. I don't know. And on the Green Bay side, they are 2.5-point favorites. Josh Jacobs and Jalen Reed and Christian Watson. If Jordan Love plays, I didn't put him on there because I just don't know. I have no idea if he's looking to play. If I were Green Bay, you're 2-1 right now. I wouldn't start him because you're in a good position. Malik Willis is doing his job. He's being a great manager, game manager, that is. So it's not too important to think about those decisions with those wide receivers. Just look out on Sunday if he's playing. If he is playing, you can start Reed and Watson with confidence. If he's not playing, maybe look for some other guys on your bench or stream. Just be cautious. That's how it goes on Sundays every time. It's kind of annoying, but that's the name of the game. But yeah, I think Green Bay covers this game as well. We're moving on. Oh, gosh, Jacksonville. Here we go. Who are you starting for Jacksonville? No one. Absolutely no one. They might be the worst team in the league. I think this game will prove how bad they are. I don't expect them to win this game at all. They're 6-point underdogs. I would personally take the Houston cover. You're telling me that Houston can't beat them by more than a touchdown? I mean, come on. Unless Vegas knows something. It seems like they always do. No one on the Jacksonville side. Not even starting ETN. Looking kind of rough. And on the Houston side, CJ Stroud, Akers, or Mixon. Depends on the health for Joe Mixon. But, if Joe Mixon is healthy, start Joe Mixon. If he's not healthy, start Cam Akers. Simple. And then we got Stephon Diggs, Collins. You're going to sit Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz, but that's pretty much everyone else that you have stock in Houston. So just be a little bit cautious. It can be weary out there. Oh, we got 9 likes and 8 people watching. Let's go. So that means we've got people coming in. How y'all doing? How y'all's Thursday doing? I hope it's going well. I hope it's going very well. We need some better days, man. We got to keep going. Let's look at the chat real quick. Robust One on Arm says, listen to this man. He knows. I'm trying my bestest. That's all that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. Nick says, how do you usually manage bye weeks? I see my team weakening significantly. In the sense of bye weeks, well, here's the strat that I go with. If you, it all depends on your draft day, right? If you decide to take some studs that share week 7 bye, you might just have to chalk up an L for week 7. That's just how it is. I've done that several times. Sometimes it can help because your team does really well because you have those guys on your team, but then week 7 or week whatever comes around and it just falls apart. You take an L, you move on. That is okay. But how I manage them, I would really look carefully at who the matchups are on my bench compared to the guys that you can pick up on the waiver wire. Just be a little bit cautious on the matchups. As of right now, we have no buys. I don't know when the first buy is. That usually comes in around week 7, week 8, I believe, because, got to make some time to play the game and rest up. But, yeah, that's just my strategy for managing bye weeks, but not too much strategy put into those things. Let's move on. I would take Houston to cover on this one for sure. Oh my gosh. There's just no way. Like and subscribe. You guys know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe, of course. I got to add that in there. But today's question is pancakes, waffles, or French toast. What is your preferred? Let me know in the comments. This is our time. If you're new here, this is our time to breathe. Let's just breathe for a moment, and let's talk about something. Nico's on the IR? Huh? Since when? Dude, I every week. Is he actually on the IR? No way. Is he? Oh, no. When was he put on the IR? No way. Injury? Let's look this up. Nico Collins? Davis Apple, what is that? What is that emoji? Oh my gosh, no way, Nico Collins. Are you kidding me? When did this happen? Oh my gosh. Oh, that stinks. Okay, well. Okay, so Tank Dell, you gotta start Tank Dell. That is unfortunate, man. Golly. Okay. Oh, sorry, I did not realize it was not on screen. So you were just looking at or hearing me talk. Okay, thank you, Ryan, for the breaking news. That sucks. Davis, what is that emoji? I can't see. Oh, Cheerios? Okay. Mason, he says French toast is the best, but I'm not taking the time to make it. Out of the three, I'm making pancakes the most. Good answer. I'm a waffle guy. I think this is a good question because there's no wrong answer. All three are delicious, but, you know, of course it... Oh my gosh, Tank's out too? Ryan, you should just come host the show. Like, this is crazy. Oh my gosh, man, this sucks. I'm just not... Am I not prepared? Is that what's going on? I think that might be the case. Okay, well, we got to move forward. Again, let me know. Pancakes, French toast, or waffles. And now Marvin Harrison Jr. is questionable. That's great. Check out the injury. See if the injury is that guy. Check out Fantasy Medic on Instagram. I think that's his name. Or Fantasy Docs. He is fantastic. David says, I thought it was a favorite brekkie. No. You got to let me know. But Cheerios is your favorite brekkie. Interesting. Oh, that word makes me sad. Not wrong one. Okay, now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the Colts. Man, this is like a throwback game. If you know, you know. It's 2010. It's a cold fall day. It's 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. It's Ben Roethlisberger versus Peyton Manning. But this time we have Justin Fields versus Anthony Richardson. What a time to be alive. The Steelers are 1.5-point favorites. I believe the over-under total is like 40 points, so don't expect a lot of scoring, thanks to the Pittsburgh D. Fields, if need be, I think that's only if you're in a situation if you have like Tua or Jordan Love on your team and you just need a quarterback and need someone to fill that hole. But I would go with Fields, Harris, and Pickens. That one's going to be kind of tough because I don't expect a lot of the ball to be spread out a ton. On the Indianapolis side, really only Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richardson, if you need to start him, if you drafted him, go ahead and start him, but I would bench him if you have a better option. I would start Sam Darnold over him, personally, but that would be tough. David says, waffles. Nick says, brekkie. Oh, my heart. Nick says, I love me some Walmart cinnamon buns with an iced latte. Okay, I respect it. I like it. Nice iced latte. Who doesn't love a nice little iced latte? We're moving on. I would take Pittsburgh to cover. All right, we have Denver versus the Jets. I'm not starting any Denver players. I know they just came off a good game against the Bucs, but I still would be a little bit cautious. So no one on the Denver side, especially with this Jets defense. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Allen Lazard. Rodgers and Lazard are if need be. I expect some good games. Lazard seems like that guy, like the Gabe Davis of last year, where you don't know if he's going to do well or not. But it's time to rant. Why in the world are people talking about benching Garrett Wilson? I know he's got the matchup against Patrick Surtain, the best cornerback in the league. You don't bench your first rounders. I don't care. I know the matchup sucks. I know it's not great, and it's a wide receiver spot. If you have someone better, I guess do it, but we don't bench round one picks. I don't understand it at all. You only bench them if they're hurt or if they're banged up and they're on limited snap counts. I just don't understand the whole talk because I've seen so much narrative that, like Surtain's going to lock him up. He probably will, but what if he catches a touchdown? Then, that's 7 points right away and maybe some yardage. I think you got to start Garrett Wilson no matter what. You got to start your first-round picks. I don't care. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Why would you ever bench Garrett Wilson? Right? Yeah, that's blasphemous. I agree. That's insane. Just look it up. A lot of people are talking about benching Garrett Wilson. It's insane. Texted you a picture, Eli. I'm cooked in my 8-man league. Dell is my injury. Oh, no. Let me see this picture. You got a picture? I have really crappy service in here, so if it doesn't go through, that's why. I don't see it, Ryan. You got to send me that. Boo, he says. Why are you saying boo? Boo what? I don't know. Appreciate y'all, though, for real. Jets 7.5-point favorites. I'm never a fan of high lines, but Man, I'm going with the favorites this week, except for the Rams and Bears. I would take the Rams to cover. We're moving on. All right, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Can Philly get the revenge that they've always wanted to get since last year against the Bucs, who bounced them out of the playoffs? Philly is the 1.5-point favorites, so we'll go with Jalen Hurts, Barkley, and Goddard. Looks like Smith and Brown are still going to be banged up, but it is what it is. But I'd expect Barkley to get some good snap counts. He could be the fantasy MVP this year, early fantasy MVP. If you're like me and you took Saquon on a risk in your first round, it's not really looking like a risk anymore. That team is looking great on the offensive side, but Sirianni's got to figure out some stuff. I feel like they got too much talent not to be winning games like they should. Like, I think they should have beat New Orleans convincingly, and they did win. They won the game, but that's how it is. Nick says, do you live in the East Coast? I absolutely do. I do. I live in Georgia. All right, and then Tampa Bay side, Baker, if need be. I still wouldn't want to start him. That would scare me, just if you had to start him. Rashad White, Bucky Irving, if you can pick up Bucky Irving in your... I forgot to put this in my community post, but Bucky Irving he's looking like he can be the guy. However, Todd Bowles said said that he doesn't plan on really starting Irving more than White. I think it might be smarter, but that's just me. But you're still going to start Rashad White, because who else do you have to, in your arsenal? Then we got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Evans had a stinker last week. I expect him to bounce back. Hopefully, those Phillies secondary is awful. Chris Godwin, wide receiver 1, was educated on that last week, and he did well. We're moving on. Washington versus Arizona. I'm actually very excited for this game, just because Daniels looked great. It was like his coming out party, and I expect him to continue doing well. Both defenses are solid enough for it to be a good game, but not too good for it to be a stinker of a matchup. 1 second. That's just how it is. Ryan says Goddard or McBride. Not sure if McBride playing because of concussion. Goddard, for sure. I would even start him if they're both healthy. I'm going to my first Eagle games in December at the... Oh, no way. You're going to the Lincoln Stadium? Let's go, dude. It's going to be so much fun. Who are they playing? That'll be a good game. Yeah, so on the Arizona side, let's start with them because they're 3.5-point favorites. Connor Murray, McBride, if he's healthy, and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's going to stay consistent throughout the year, but be a little cautious. Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson Jr., and Terry McLaurin. That one should boom right there just because of the Austin Eckler injury. I like Jaden Daniels. I think you can start him with confidence. We'll see this game if he had a good game last week, and that's the only reason why he did well. But we'll see how that goes. All right, and then that's at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Is that the beginning of the... Yeah, that's the beginning of the afternoon games. We'll move on. Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's take some time talking about these games, man. Let's take some time. All right. New England, well, maybe not this game. This is going to be a blowout. This is 10.5-point favorites. That's easily the highest line we've had in the entire year. I always say... Let me go full screen for this. I always say never bet on high lines because you just don't know. It's like a bait. It's a little scary, but I mean, San Francisco versus New England. Golly, I mean, if only the defense played against New England, I think they'd score more. But that one's going to be tough to see. We'll see how New England really looks. They lost a heartbreaking loss for them last week against the Rams on a good punt return, which led to a game-winning field goal. That seems like the Rams' style of play. Just one good play, and then a Stafford great drive, and then a game-winning field goal. Seen that way too many times. New England, Ramondre Stevenson, if need be. I'm starting Tony Pollard over Ramondre Stevenson. I did that last week. It worked out. How well did it work out? I only gained 5 more points than I would have with Stevenson because he put up a donut. Put up 0 points. That sucks, but he played a tough team against the Jets. San Francisco, Purdy, Mason, Kittle, and Jennings. I think those are all solid starting options, especially with the way Brock Purdy played last week. I still think he's a game manager, but we'll see how that goes for the rest of the year. Jordan Mason, I think as long as Chris McCaffrey's not playing, you can start him. George Kittle and Juwan Jennings, those guys are the obvious targets for Brock Purdy, and he's comfortable with those guys, so I expect that to flourish. But yeah, 10.5-point favorites. I'm not betting on this game. I'm not betting on any game, but this one would be one I would stay away from just because, dude, 10.5 points. That is an insane line. All right, here we go. Oh, my gosh. All right. I got the picture, Ryan. Let's read this together, guys. Nico Collins, hamstring added to injury report Thursday. He was limited at practice on Thursday. Collins is a new addition, blah, blah, blah. Hamstring that left him limited on Thursday, but we don't know how much severity of at this point. Tank Dell chest has been sidelined for both practices this week. So, yeah, be careful. Yeah, be careful. Yes, Goddard over McBride for sure. But, man, if Collins is healthy, I would still say start him because you gotta. But if you're a Diggs owner, you're kind of hoping that Collins does not play. That's just me. That's just me personally. All right, let's get this stream on my phone back to running so I can get another viewer in there. That's just how it is, man. You gotta fake it till you make it, right? All right, yeah. So I guess San Francisco to cover. Don't like it. Not a big fan of it. Oh my goodness. Let's take a wrong one. Screens. There we go. All right, the Cleveland Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Earlier I said the Oakland Raiders. I'm not an old guy, but I think that just shows my age on watching the NFL. Cleveland versus the Raiders. That is an ugly matchup. Not because it's the Browns versus the Raiders, but both of these teams suck. They're not good. Cleveland got exposed last week against the Giants. Man, that is just so bad. They're so bad. Yeah, it's not looking great. It's not looking good. But Raiders are 2-point favorites. I would only start Adams and Bowers. The quarterback play is ugly. The running back play is ugly. But you got two solid options in Adams and Bowers. If they can tank and get a good quarterback, that'd be great. That'd be really great. On the Cleveland side, David Njoku only if he's healthy. Jerome Ford and Amari Cooper. Forgot to put in. Well, I didn't really forget. I didn't want to put him in there, but if you really wanted to start Jerry Jeudy, you could. I wouldn't be totally against it, but Amari Cooper had a great game last week. I expect him to get more into that wide receiver one role over Jerry Jeudy for sure. But let's move on to the next one because this game stinks. At 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. I assure you, there are better games to watch. All right, Kansas, like this one. This is probably a better game because it's divisional. I know it's a higher line, but you'll definitely see more exciting play. Kansas City versus the Chargers. This is in Los Angeles. Derwin James is not playing this game. I think it's baloney, but, you know, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So that will definitely help out Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and all the wide receivers. But you're going to start Patrick Mahomes. You're pretty much going to start him all year unless you have a better option. But I wouldn't think you would have Lamar and Patrick Mahomes on the same team, or Hurts or Allen or any of those guys to be paired with Mahomes. Unless you're greedy, then you're definitely missing a big spot on your team. But those four guys, it's a running back roulette. I don't know if it's going to be Steele. Is it going to be P. Ryan? Who knows? Both guys did solid enough, but not solid enough to be convinced on who to start. On the LA side, we have Dobbins, McConkey, and Johnston. I looked up Herbert's stats earlier. Dude, he's thrown like 399 and 4 touchdowns. They gained -5 yards. That sounds wrong. They lost 5 yards in the second half versus the Steelers. I know it's tough out there, but dude, 399 through 3 games, that's not good. That's not good for Herbert. I understand the situation's a little bit different just because of, not having a solid receiver, but here we are. Ryan says Jennings or Mason in a flex spot. I hear New England pass defense is worse than their run defense. Let me sip on this. Well, Jennings did great last week, as we all know. He was definitely the best receiver. I don't expect that to go into week 4. I always prefer starting running backs over wide receivers, but in this case, I think Juwan Jennings might be the safer bet, especially with PPR, and also him being easily the wide receiver 1 for this team right now. So I would go with Jennings, but you gotta be a little cautious, right? Always gotta be. Kansas City -7 favorite. I would go with Kansas City for sure. For sure. All right, we're moving on. Another sip of this yerb. Sorry, I'm really craving it. Yerba, sponsor the guy. That'd be fantastic if you could. I love your drinks. They're fantastic. Sunday Night Football. Buffalo versus Baltimore. What a great matchup that we have. Sunday Night Football has been on a roll. So I think we can get a good game out of this. Baltimore are 2.5-point favorites, so we'll start with them. Lamar, Henry, tight end roulette. Again, I wouldn't start either of those guys with confidence, but we'll see how that goes. And Zay Flowers. Derrick Henry looked like a monster last week. Golly. I mean, his highlights were crazy. I want Baltimore to win, of course, because I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. But that's just me. Buffalo, Josh Allen, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. Man. Davis, if you're still in the chat, you got to tell me what's going on. If y'all seen the Keon Coleman reports, apparently he and Josh Allen had a feud, and they benched Keon Coleman like the entire game last week. They didn't need to play him, but it was a little weird. I think Josh Allen's a great teammate, but I don't know why they didn't really play him as much. He did score, but one catch for nothing. So what's going on there? Is it too early to say rip to Keon Coleman? I think so. We move on. Excuse me, I had to finish that drink. All right, moving on to another doubleheader on Monday night. Davis said, what? Yeah, it's unreal. You should. I saw it from just a couple sources, so it could be some baloney. But hey, man, that's what's going on right now. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, Davis, you can look it up. Like, you might not. Okay, this sounds so fishy. The stream's not over. You might not find it because the sources I had were very small pages, and I don't know, and if it might not, surface. But they did blow out Jacksonville, so you probably didn't need to play. But I still have hopes for Keon Coleman. But if this continues, the guy's not been getting any targets. He is a rookie, so you gotta be fair. You gotta be nice, right? Ryan said I was so hyped for him this season. I was too. Very sad. Let's move on to this one game. We got 2 games left. Tennessee versus Miami. They are 1-point favorites. How in the world did that happen? I have no idea. No idea how that happened. Their defense must be... Well, Tennessee sucks, but we'll see. Sorry, Ryan. Tennessee side, you really wouldn't start Tony Pollard. That's it. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. It's just weird every week. I don't want to keep playing that game. Miami side, Achane, Waddle, Hill, they're all healthy. But, again, I mean, Waddle's projected has dropped down to like 10 points. It's so sad. He's like the best wide receiver 2 in the game. And then Tyreek Hill, of course. This is so sad, man. It's very, very unfortunate. But they're 1-point favorites. This game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Out of both Monday night games, this is not the one you're going to want to watch. The next one you're going to want to watch, I would take the Miami Dolphins to cover, though. I think they figure out a way. This is the game you want to watch. Are the Seahawks frauds at 3-0? We'll find out. Versus the Detroit Lions, who are 2-1, I believe. They're 3.5-point favorites. I like the line because I think it is going to be somewhat of a close game, but I do think Detroit wins. And I would take that. I would take the cover. Geno Smith, if need be. I still don't like playing him because who was the best defense he's played? Please let me know. I don't think he's played a very good defense. Zach Charbonnet, he looked great last week. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Lockett seems to be, no pun intended, a lock almost every week in the sense of deep leagues and filler spots. I'm starting him because I need to. I'm starting him over Calvin Ridley. I'm taking a chance on the boom. I have to. My team is terrible. I'm 0-3 in one of my leagues. It's not looking fun. And then on the Detroit side, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Sam Laporta. Jared Goff, you got to bench him. I thought he was going to be the most solid quarterback too, but it's not looking like that at all this year. Be a little careful. But I still think these guys can get the ball. These guys, Dan Campbell is cooking up something where he's making fantasy owners happy. He is keeping both these guys busy, and I'm loving it because I am a Jahmyr Gibbs fantasy owner, and I get scared every time the game plays, but so far I'm pretty relieved, knock on wood, because I don't want to have him not touch the ball as much as he is now. Ryan said, tighten up, baby. I will say that because the Tennessee Titans were my first love for an NFL team. I like them a lot. Everyone else you're going to bench on both sides, including JSN for the Seahawks. And that seems to be the end of the show. Guys, hit me with, this is going to be the last 5 minutes or so, or not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes of just spiel. Let's go through the games real quick again. I'll just give off my picks, and we'll see who... I got to write these down. I'll go back and put them all on a sheet. But tonight, I got the Cowboys. Saints versus Falcons, I'll take the Falcons. Bengals, Panthers, I'll take the Bengals. Rams, Bears, I'll take the Rams. Vikings, Packers, I'll take the Packers. Jags, Texans, take the Texans. Steelers, Colts, Steelers, Broncos, Jets, Eagles, Bucks. That's going to be a good game. I'll go Eagles, though. Commanders, Cardinals. I'll go Cardinals for the experience. Pats, 49ers. Browns, Raiders. I'll go Raiders in a stinker game. Chiefs, Chargers. I'll go Chiefs. Bills, Ravens. I'll go Ravens. And then the doubleheader on Monday night, Titans versus Dolphins. I'll go Dolphins. I'm not looking forward to that game, but it's Monday Night Football. Seahawks, Lions. I'll go Lions. And that will be a good test for the Seahawks to see if they're fraudulent or not. Yeah, that's it for the show. Thank you guys so much for for tuning into the stream. Hudson's right. We got to get this channel up and going. We're at 1,000 subs. Last video popped off. It did really well. So we got to keep these streams going. Davis said, what? Are you talking about like Yeah, Davis, I'm a Lamar fan. You know this. We're enemies on Sunday night. Just for a little bit. Only like 3 hours. Yes, Ravens, really. Yes. Lamar Jackson's the greatest quarterback, greatest football player of all time. Don't quote me that. That's just me being a fanboy. Ryan said Ravens with the period. Absolutely. I'm not a coward. I'm standing on business. How you doing? Corward. Get it right. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the stream. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If everyone told someone to subscribe, we would gain a lot of subscribers. Over, a lot is subjective, but I think it would be a lot. Right now, I think we're like 1,040. Not too bad. We're looking to get to 1,500 by the end of the year. I think that's possible. I would love to see this channel grow. I love this channel. I love doing this. Every time I walk in, I've told so many people this outside of the stream. Every time I walk into the studio, I'm just blessed from the Lord to be able to do this because this is what I love to do. I love my other jobs, but this is what I love to do. And if it kind of depends on y'all, it depends on me, of course, but I would love for this channel just to grow because I love this community. We're just talking football, man. That's all it is. Ryan said, can't wait to panic text you my start sit questions. I can't wait to get them, Ryan. They're like my favorite thing. And then David says, bye, Ryan Mason and anyone else. Not Mr. Ravens, though. I'm Mr. Falcons. Go Birds. How you doing? Go Birds on both sides. Peace, Ryan. Peace. Everyone, we end the chat with how many people in there? Got 6 people watching, but on my screen says 9, but really 6, I believe. 9 likes. We'll take it. We love it. Y'all are the best. As always, God bless, be kind, and peace.